We go. I do believe we are live. So I'll say indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. I'll say welcome. I'll say it's nice to have you here. I'll say today's stream topic is about hopefulness. I am very susceptible to being affected by the world in so many words. And this world and all its ways of affecting me can, in one way or another, take my hope. Right? If I had to just rely on the world to give me a sense of hope, I wouldn't always be particularly hopeful. Right? And maybe you have experienced that in some line as well. That if you had to just kind of wait for the world to give you something to be hopeful for, you might spend a long time waiting. Right? And I was thinking about that a lot, thinking about the things that I am hopeful for. Uh, one of which would be success, right? And when it comes to let's link it to the hope of success. When it comes to hoping that you will be successful, awareness of the world will do the opposite for you, or at least it could do the opposite for you. I have felt very hopeless in referencing the world and considering how I'm supposed to be valued, how I'm supposed to be seen, how I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to be. And I want to share today's stream topic from this perspective of you need to be the one that creates the hope, right? And this is a lesson that I'm trying to teach myself as well. I'm willing to acknowledge that because I tend to be more or less hopeful depending on what is happening in the world, right? What is happening in my personal life, what is happening in the moment to moment, realistically speaking, right? I might be completely okay on one day and very not okay on the next, simply because something changed, all right? Could be something small even. Something changed, and then I felt something else, right? Today, for example, I spent the whole day not smoking. And this is the first time that I now have some bud with me again, planning to vape on stream. Yesterday we talked about this shift that we've taken on to not smoke before 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and it is 9 minutes past 4 p.m. right now. And I do think that that has something to do with it. This feeling I've had, and it's again, I don't feel hopeless necessarily. I don't even think I feel hopeless remotely. I just feel a sense of, I guess, worry would be the word. Neon is the loneliest color. Saying morning melt. Oh, neon. Good morning to you. What a pleasure it is to have you here in the new year. Thank you for spending some time with me. Thank you for bringing some hope into my heart, right? Me doing the opposite of today's teaching. Today's teaching is supposed to be how to bring hope to ourselves. How can I bring hope to myself? Um, First and foremost, in my mind arises the things that we can do to take care of our physical forms, right? That if I did yoga today, so in doing my yoga, I can hope that I'll stay healthy, that my body will stay strong, that my mind will stay mindful, that my breath will stay steady, right? I can hope for these things because I did something, right? And I want to like talk about that kind of hope, right? The kind of hope you get to have because you did something. And I don't know if that hope is readily accessible to everybody at all times. It is one of those hopes that expect something of you, to say it in so many words. Yes, I hope 2025 will be such a great year for you. Leon, thank you. Thank you, dear friend. I hope the same for you too. Let's maybe articulate or verbalize a little bit what a good 2025 would look like to us. If I had to consider the context, I would believe a good 2025 to me would look like a successful one. And I feel like that is in parts inspiring today's stream topic, right? Because we all hope to be successful. We're all hoping for a good year. But if we had to, again, just look at the people around us, to our world circumstances, I don't know if the year or if the world or if the people necessarily will bring us the hope we need. And if that's the case, what can I do to ensure that there will be hope? Or what can I do that will give me hope? I think the fact that we've built a community, that gives me hope. Success is a complicated word. Oh, yeah. Successful. Being successful. It is a complicated word. You're right, Neon. Rabbit is here too. Hey, Loizana. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your ceaseless love. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for the hope that you have brought into my life as well. I feel like I'm reeling a little bit. Freaking flies everywhere. I'm going to add some heat to this Dynavap. I have some Gorilla Glue in here right now. It's some of the Gorilla Glue that Christian brought when he was over, actually. He ended up leaving it on purpose. He left it for me. We should have a click any second now. My intention is to hope for success. I hope for success. And then again, rolling it back to what we're trying to anchor ourselves to today, is what can I do in order to hope for success? I can't hope for success just sitting in my room with my lights out, waiting for success to come, right? Like the hope literally will not exist there. No matter what the world shows me, no matter what people tell me, there is no hope to be had if I don't do anything. But you see, it's a very slippery slope. And I find myself slipping already. Because the other side of it, if doing absolutely nothing and just kind of waiting for something is not reason for hope, then doing everything feels like the next logical conclusion. And then there's this willingness in me, at least, to admit that despite all of the everything that I want to do, I can't. And all of the everything that I want to do will have more and less things to be hopeful for, right? That if I do one thing, For instance, maybe let's say I do yoga, right? If I do yoga, I can hope for health. I can hope for flexibility. I can hope for mindfulness. I can hope for presence. I can hope for calm, maybe. But in doing yoga, I can't hope to be the next Mr. Olympia, right? In doing yoga, I can't hope to uh, 10x my gains. I cannot hope to, learn how to do a backflip in doing yoga. So in that way, I am aware of the fact that depending on what I do, depending on the actions that I take, depending on how I show up in my life day after day, I get to hope in one way or another. And I'm noticing, at least in my own experience, that my hope is very much linked to my ability to see things through. But it's interesting how quickly it fades directly afterwards. To give us some context, I moved out last year with a hopeful heart, right? And that hopefulness was almost the energy that I needed. I had to spend a bunch of time learning a bunch of things so that I may hope to be able to do the things that I tried to do last year. And I'm saying try to do, I succeeded in some ways, right? We did a few festivals. But at the same time, I would have hoped, I would have hoped that in me moving out and in me finding clients and in me doing festivals, I would uh, be okay. I would not have to worry. I would be able to afford a place to live, right? And the world, right, didn't allow that hope to continue to exist necessarily. And to bring it into today's stream's lens, the thing that gave me hope in the first place was my own ambition, was my own hope, right? Was my own I hope for this. And then because I found myself in a circumstance, because I found myself in an experience where hopefulness wasn't enough, right? It felt like I had to almost like cash in. I had to go to the bank and withdraw all my hope so that I can be okay. So I can hope for tomorrow instead of hoping for the future. I don't know if that makes any sense. And it felt a little bit disheartening, It still does feel a little bit disheartening sometimes because it's not what I'd hoped for, right? It's not what I'd hoped for. Then I have to remind myself, excuse me. Then I have to remind myself of time. I am hopeful again that with time things will change. That the challenges that I'm facing right now will be a little bit less expensive. I would have to cash out less to be able to cope with. Palo Santo, did I see? I do have a stick of Palo Santo in the computer room just across from me. Neon, Louisiana, melt lurkers, lovers, near and far, here and there. We love you too, Zhao. So nice having you here. Hoopy's here too. Mao Lao. I just saw a comment disappear. I haven't read it yet. No. Yes, melt isn't melted perfectly yet. I don't think so. I think there's still much more melting to occur. Hopefulness. Right? It is definitely an interesting experience. Having hope. Having hope. I feel hope can also be something that exists in less than ideal circumstances. right? And again, to liken today's lens to this understanding that if we had to only expect all our hope to come from the external world, we might be left with very little of it. We might be left with very little of it. Again, taking it upon ourselves to realize we're the ones that's supposed to bring hope to others. And I don't always know how to do that, right? I feel like there's this willingness in me to admit that when I feel hopeless, it's harder for me to make someone else feel hopeful. Thinking about it like an environment thing, right? For the most part, we hope when it comes to the external world. And I might be wrong. I might be wrong in this assumption, this analysis. But we usually hope for outcomes a lot, right? Again, hoping for success. Success is an outcome. Hoping to afford something. The acquisition of that thing is an outcome. Hoping you're gonna do good on the test, getting your marks back and seeing that you did well is an outcome. Can I hope for something that's not an outcome? Hmm. You're gonna have to think about that more. Listen to you sounding so flat, but speaking about your sparkling adventures. I don't need to feel hopeful. Do I sound flat to you? I don't mean to. I'm just thinking about it. I'm thinking about. So I wanted to give some context. Maybe that's why I was sounding a little bit flat because I didn't get to crescendo my conversation during those experiences. Right, in my hopefulness that there would be more work coming into my life so that I can afford, to like pay for a place. There was this, let's call it bouts of euphoria, right? Bouts of extreme hopefulness. So, especially so during the second festival that we did, the one for the conclave, that first outdoor festival that they had. That festival, powerful. Hey Morgan, sup? I'm back in Joburg. Welcome back to South Africa, friend. It's nice having you on this side again. I felt very hopeful during that festival. Not only because there were a bunch of, let's call it, environmental hope factors, right? People were approaching me with a sense of awe and an appreciation for the visuals that I've made. And they were liking it, right? They liked what they were seeing. And the organizers of the event, like the owners of the brand, were extremely happy with the work that I've done for them. And I'm going to do more work for them coming up as well. I'm pretty sure, right? I'm pretty sure. Manifest, manifest, manifest. And there were a bunch of other people, right? Other event organizers there as well that were also impressed and interested in my work. And there were teachers, um, like university professors that was working in the sound industry that wanted to teach some of their students how to do, the visual side of festival work as well. And they wanted to work with me to maybe give classes to students, right? So during that weekend alone, my hopefulness was very high, right? The amount of trajectory that I could see for myself and for the business was exponential. And it felt since then like instead of it going exponential, the line has gone flat for the most part. And again, I'm supposed to give myself more time, and I will. As I continue down this path, I'm sure I'll learn things that I don't know right now. And in order to do the things I want to do, then I need to know the things that then requires me to know, and I can only learn that now or whatever, right? From that perspective. But it is, again, something that I've been very aware of, especially recently. The amount of hope the external environment can bring to me, and how quickly that hope goes away as well. And again, that might be my own bias, that might be my own stuff to deal with. But I've noticed that the hope I have in, let's just say, showing up, right? Like, I have hope for this space, for example. I have hope for what it might become one day. I have hope for what it might mean to people in the future, etc., etc. Right? And all of these hopes haven't come true yet, to say it in so many words as well. And yet, the hope that I have is still the same hope that I had. I think it fluctuates in some ways, right? My vocality, my self confidence, these things might fluctuate. But the actual hope, right? The thing that I had hoped for still remains in the exact same place. And that I had to come to by myself, right? I had to have that hope for what this might become before I could ever, show up. Maybe I'm trying to say as well that hope can be a very powerful force to get us to do things, to get us to change, to get us to try something that we might not have considered even possible. And again, how do we create that hope inside ourselves? How do we spawn it? How do we make that hopefulness? They say if you have no hope, you have nothing. I believe that hope exists even in the most hopeless people. I believe so too. I haven't called it hope in a very long time though, Neon. I've been calling it love, right? That love exists even in the most hopeless people. How are hope and love the same? I'm still stuck on the whole outcome thing. I'm spawning only cringe out here. Is that a choice? Are you experiencing? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by spawning. I'm guessing your personal experience is only cringe right now. I'm sorry about that. I'm having this mental quandary, considering what we would call hope, and how, in at least in my life, and I'm guessing in most people's lives, hope is something attached to an outcome. I'm curious if it's possible for us to hope for something without expecting an outcome, or to hope in general without there having to be an outcome, without there having to be some sort of conclusion. Can we hope just just hoping with no attachment? Is it possible even? What a fascinating and profound question. Hope, as is commonly understood, does seem tied to an outcome, an expectation that things will improve, a desire fulfilled, or a goal reached. Yet, the possibility of hoping without attachment invites a shift in perspective. Hope without attachment could be seen as a state of being rather than a strategy for achieving something. Yeah, right? That is what I'm getting at today. That is what I'm trying to get at. Is how can I occupy the state of being that is hope instead of hoping for some sort of outcome, like hoping for things to improve, hoping for my desire to be fulfilled, hoping for a goal to be reached. Hope without attachment can be seen as a state of being rather than a strategy for achieving something. It's a mindset of openness, a readiness to embrace the unknown with trust and curiosity. Instead of tethering hope to specific results, it might become a kind of faith in possibility itself. I did say something along those lines. I do like that. I don't like faith, but faith in possibility itself, that sounds like something I can get on board with. A belief that life, in its vastness and unpredictability, will unfold in ways that offer meaning, growth, and even beauty, regardless of how things turn out. Mm, that is something to be hopeful for, right? Let's just go down that rabbit hole one more time. That in hoping, we might have some sort of idea about what the outcome should be, and maybe the outcome isn't that thing, right? And if we hope for outcome, we would find ourselves upset because we now didn't get what we hoped for. But if we hope for meaning, if we hope for growth, if we hope for beauty, I think we'll always find it, right? There is something beautiful about an explosion. There is something beautiful about, I want to say, a wrecked car, right? There is a uniqueness. There is an ability, at least in the human being, to see beauty in things that might not be historically, might not be societally. You know, talking about the cracks in the walls, for example, right? To one person, the cracks in the walls is not what they'd hoped for. They'd hoped that there would be no cracks in the walls. But to the person that was just hopeful to see beautiful things, they'll find themselves looking at the cracks of the walls and find themselves grateful that there are so many beautiful cracks in the walls because it gives them something visually intriguing to look at. Mm. Okay. This kind of hope might align more with presence and mindfulness. It allows for hope to exist as a gentle companion, not driven by the future, but rooted in the present moment. It might be akin to gratitude, a hope that flows from recognizing the inherent potential in what already is, rather than what might be. Yeah, that's awesome. I do like that. I don't do that nearly enough. I don't do that nearly enough. I need to think about that. Hope in what already is instead of what might be. Looking at what you have around you right now and finding the hope within it, right? Just as it is. It feels like a good perspective to take. Hmm. I do think I have, but I've never articulated it quite like that. Is it possible? It seems to depend on how we define and practice hope. Detaching from outcomes is challenging, as we are wired to want, to strive, and to imagine futures. But with intention and reflection, it seems possible to cultivate a hope that is free, unburdened by conclusion, and simply alive. It's hope that breathes with life itself. It's very hippie of you. Hippie, yeah. Hope that breathes with life itself. Hello, mom. Yeah, having some hope. Okay, I'm going to stop thinking about things and think hopefully instead. Look back at my actions and I still cringe, though I know I did my best. You can look back at your actions and cringe, or you can look back at your actions and acknowledge that that's where you were during that part of your journey. And if you weren't there during that part of your journey, then you wouldn't be here in this part of your journey, right? And I feel like that has been the easiest way for me to let my old self off the hook. I still try to not make the same mistakes. I still do. But I make them less and less and less. And if I'm lucky, one day I won't make them at all. And in that process, I don't cringe at myself. I learn from myself. Give myself some leeway, give myself some peace retroactively. And thinking about how I want at least the future version of me to do that for this version of me too. That the future version of me is going to look back at this version of me and think, oh, why didn't you make this decision and that decision? We would have so much more to hope for in our future if you just did that in your present or whatever, right? It's not always nice feeling that way either. So I hope you don't feel that way, bro. I say to myself, what hope is a desire accompanied by expectation of a belief in fulfillment. Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy that we kind of like challenged that a little bit, Neon. Hope is more powerful the healthier we are. I feel like a healthy mind and or a healthy body makes hope more capable, and it's easier to occupy that state of being. I feel like that's very accurate, Joe. Perfectly said. I don't think I am less healthy right now. Am I less healthy right now? I think I am gaining a little bit of weight again, but I'm not less healthy, technically. A healthy mind. The mind is a very crazy thing. The fact that you friends can influence my mind, can make my mind think things and feel things is it's also a part of the deal. I'm social anxiety. I feel I don't know what to do in social situations. Then you need to read Dream Tooth. You need to go and read books about how to talk to people. All right. That's what I did. I was also socially anxious and then I got better. Right. I spent some time listening to audiobooks about how to make friends, quite literally. Hey, let me talk to the language model. What's that book that goes 93 rules to make friends? Pretty sure it goes 93 rules to make friends and manipulate people. If I'm not wrong, is it manipulate people? Talk to any. Not it's not manipulate people. It goes talk to anyone. 92 little tricks for big success in relationships. Is that the one? No, it's Dan Carnegie's. Dan Carnegie's is the one that I was thinking about. Uh, Goes how to win friends and influence people. It's not manipulate people. Good. How to win friends and influence people. And let's just do that. Yeah, I'm talking about the Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. That book definitely did help me in getting a little bit better at interacting with the world and with people. And I would like for you to give me the most significant points. One of my friends is mentioning that they're socially anxious. What points can I share with them that might help them down this journey of learning how to talk to people? Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People is full of timeless advice. Show genuine interest in others. All right. Asking questions. Step one, usually, right? Playing conversational ping pong. Keep asking questions. The person who asks questions is the person in control of the conversation. Key ideas. People love to talk about themselves, so be curious about them. A practical tip is to ask open-ended questions about their interests, work, and hobbies. This shifts the focus off your friend and puts the spotlight on the other person, right? Asking questions. Smiling. A genuine smile is an easy and powerful way to make others feel comfortable. Practicing smiling at yourself in the mirror to build confidence in using this tool naturally in social situations. Yeah, that one is a little bit strange, but worthy. Like the teaching in that whole smile part of the book kind of tells you about not just like as soon as you see a person just smiling, right? But almost allowing your smile to like crescendo over your face, right? Like I might be busy focusing on stuff, and then I'm like, right? You see how that smile kind of like, it wasn't just, right? See how different feelings come with different ones. Nisha Shwarma, hello boss, how are you? I'm doing well. I'm feeling a little bit like, uh, mm, I'm feeling a little bit like that for no reason, for no particular reason. There might be a reason, but it's not a good one. It's not necessarily a reason that I want to feel that way about. You know what I mean? Sometimes you feel a certain way and you know why you feel the way you feel, but you wish you didn't feel that way. That's how I'm feeling. That's kind of how I'm feeling. Use people's names. That's a good one. All right. That's one I try and do, but it's one I'm always getting better at. It's one I'm willing to augment myself to never forget. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves and listen actively. Using phrases like "tell me more about that" or nod affirmatively to show engagement. Yes. Mm. Make the other person feel important. That's a big one. Everyone, a third time, everyone wants to feel validated, wants to feel valuable, wants to feel important. Compliment their efforts or acknowledge their contributions in a meaningful way. Avoid criticism and complaints. Woo! That was a big one. Criticism puts people on the defensive and doesn't foster good relationships. Focus on understanding others rather than judging them. Yeah, that one I still can get much better at. We were talking about that specifically a little bit earlier, how I've made a great deal many mistakes. Being very critical is amongst them. I am very critical because I want things to be done right. I want there to be success. I want to have hope for the future. All right, that is today's stream topic. I want to have hope for the future. Pepe, hello, Buffy. Come here, Babsy. Kobe, come here, Babs. Come here, Kobe. Come here. Come here, Kobe. Come here, baby. Come here, Kobe, Kobe. Hello, baby. Oh, your baby. It's a little baby. He's on an adventure right now. He doesn't want to be held. He's like, no, I want to go and smell things, bro. Fine, you can go and smell things. And today was taking a poop for a second. Finding common ground. That's a good one, right? Connecting with people due to through shared interests. Big one. Pay attention to what excites other people and find a way to relate to it. Talk in terms of other people's interests. Good one. Being encouraging and appreciative. Good one as well. And let others save face. Avoid embarrassing or putting people on the spot as it damages relationships. Be tactful. So, advice for your social anxieties is to start small. Practice these skills with one or two people that you trust before trying larger social situations, like you have maybe in this space, we can say. Reframing nervousness instead of fearing mistakes, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. Realize as well that people are so caught up in their own brains that you making a mistake is not something that they will be thinking about that much. They might think about it for a second, but then they'll go right back to thinking about their own problems. And focusing on the other person. Yeah, shifting attention away from your own anxiety can reduce self consciousness. While you're listening to this person, forgetting about yourself a little bit. All right, just be there. Just be there. Expect nothing. Bless you again, Nisha. Did I miss a few comments? Scrolling. You're conflating two books. I was conflating two books. You're completely right. I'm happy that I did kind of find the right one. I burden with conclusion the mental mirror neuron. Thinking stop. Doesn't have to be one thought versus another. Remember their name. Talk to their interests. Those are good tips to kind of like keep with you. Dream tooth. You need to challenge yourself. Take it slow, but you can lessen your anxiety. True. I was extremely socially anxious as a younger person, and I still am, but now other people don't know. Boom. Great success. Great success. Dream this again. Having a task in social situations helps me be social. I'm like a golden retriever. Me too. I'm also like that. I'll just start doing things. Rather have people see me busy than see me not knowing what's going on or what to say next. Asking question often helps drive a conversation too. This is true. Why I never see why I never seem happy and good experiences on your face. Keep smiling, please. Doesn't smile harder. Going to an event and meeting new people. You don't have to worry about meeting them again. Also true. Get to have like an experience of I'm only gonna see this person once in my entire life. So the stakes are a little bit lower like that too. Can you say to me namaste? Namaste. Namaste to you, dear friend. Resting excites me. Yeah, resting can be very exciting if you have spent a lot of time doing things that exert you. But if you rest into restfulness, you'll find yourself melting into apathy, not into rest anymore, right? Like you will rest to the point that you will feel rested, and then you will rest at the point where it will again drain energy from your system. I think that might be in part what happened to me today. I spent more time liaising, resting, than I think I was supposed to today. And I think as a result of that, I'm feeling a little bit less hopeful as well. But that is my own bias. I keep seeing comments disappear. Meltmore, can you tell me your nickname? My nickname is Estian, literally. I think that is actually my nickname. But I prefer Meltmore. My name is Meltmore. If the computers ask me who I am, I tell them I am Meltmore. And I plan on changing my birth name to Meltmore in the year 2028. When I turn 30, I think I'm changing my name. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm guessing your real name is Nisha. Do you have a nickname? Do people call you a term of endearment? Do you hope do you hope they stop? Like my family knows me as this Estian. But that name doesn't really inspire hope in me, to say it in so many words. At least, not nearly as much as hope as the name Meltmore inspires in me. And I think it is, in part, this association we have, right? When I think about my old name, I think about all of the things that that version of me used to be. And I think about the trajectory that continuing to be that version of me would have led to. And in this process, in this journey of choosing myself a new name and becoming someone else, my hopes, my hopes and dreams have changed as well. Who I am allowed me to hope for different things too. My nickname is Nishu. Nisha, Nishu. That's nice. But no meaning of my name. Your name doesn't mean anything? That's okay. I don't think Estian means anything. My birth certificate name is Christian. There's more, but Christian is one of them. And Christian in Afrikaans means Christian, right? Like I am a worshiper of Jesus. That's what my dad called me. And guess what? Guess what? That's not who I am. Surprise, surprise. So even though my name means something, I actively fight that meaning in my own life. High school kids called me Cyclops. Cyclops. I know your eyes are not perfect, Dreamtooth. Did they call you Cyclops because you used to look through one of your eyes? I am Hindu, but my name is Kristen. Ah, my birth name is Neon Color. That is wild. Did you have hippie parents, Neon? I didn't. I very much did not have hippie parents. But it is kind of cool being called Neon. Neon is the loneliest color, as your username has been something that's interesting to me as well. It sounds nice, right? That's the thing for me when I think about names. I don't think so much about the letters that make them or the meaning behind them. I think about the way that it sounds, right? Meltmore sounds nice to me. Meltmore. 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 I like the way it sounds. Estian. It feels like it has too many stops. Estian. Estian. Mm, mm, mm. Meltmore. And then neon has that same nice sounds, right? Like the neon. Saying a bunch of other names in my head as well. Not really. It is cool. It's from the One is the Loneliest Color song. One is the loneliest color. That makes less sense than your name. Today I'm glad because my likes on TikTok 17K and my every video on you for you and trend. I'm happy to hear that your TikToks are doing well, dear friend. 17,000 likes is more likes than I've gotten in my entire career. I'm pretty sure that's true. I can check. I have the data. Yes. Please leave me be, little flies. Analytics. I can see my subscribers. Will it be here? All of them? They didn't really make your likes accessible to you like that, it would seem. There's so many flies out here. They drive me a little bit bonkers. Yeah, no. I don't think I have access to that information for some reason. I think I can find out how much likes an individual video got. And even then, it doesn't seem to be very accessible. Yeah. Like, I can't even find the information directly on the post itself. But 17,000 likes is a lot of likes, dear friend. Good for you. That is great. I have been born to a world with only one eye in it for me. Luckily, it is beyond anyone to say what or for who it sees. I'm one to see my own conscious mind being eclipsed. Hmm. Estian, it just doesn't feel right calling you that, but it really is a pretty name. It feels right hearing your mom say it, though. It is what they've called me my whole life. I didn't like my name as a child. That is definitely in part why I had to choose myself a name as well as an adult. I'm thinking about all of the weird things that I went through as a kid. I once had this inkling in my mind that I wanted to go quiet. I wanted to go completely quiet and not say anything. And then not say anything for as long as I possibly can. Weeks, months, years, even. And then I imagined that when I would say something, I would reemerge with a new name. And this was like when I was 7 or 8 years old. I went down these rabbit holes. It's curious to see how we find ourselves in adults doing these things. One is the loneliest number, I meant. Ah, okay. That makes a little more sense. I'm one to see my own conscious mind become eclipsed. Still don't understand. Also didn't like your name. Have you found acceptance for it now, Neon? Or maybe you were talking about the silence thing. I like the Neon name, but the color name made it harsh. Hmm. Maybe eventually as a child you learn what the word neon means. They called me Crayola. There's no neon colored Crayolas. Those kids were stupid. I'm on your side, Neon. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. My intention for this new year is to feel hopeful of every moment. I'm cool with it now. It's curious to see how we change. I have changed a lot since I was the version of me that wanted to change his name. Maybe there's some sort of hope to be shared in that as a consideration that you are allowed to be whoever you want to be. I think that should bring us hope, right? Because that's not an outcome, that's more an inspiration. Hopeful that I can be whatever I want to be. That does inspire me. MeltMore, what is this on your necklace? This is a piece of coral quartz. I believe that's what it's called. That's what the guy who sold me the necklace told me. Jovan saying, I didn't like my name either. Everyone always told me that they liked it, then proceeded to butcher the pronunciation. I answered to everything and grew into it eventually. I love that you're sharing that, Xiao. I don't even know if I'm saying it correctly now. I say Jovan, right? And because I say like almost like J, when I shorten endearingly Jovan's name, I say Xiao. Zhao, and I spell it Jzo. Zhao. I'm now curious about this not liking of our names. Because when I was reading your message specifically, Zhao, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if there's a part of us that doesn't like our names because intrinsically we know that's not who we are, technically. Right. It's just the sound that our parents decided to assign to us, and now that's who everybody thinks we are, even though it wasn't. You study or have a job? Yeah, I study every day and I do have multiple jobs actually. One of my jobs is to be an artist. So every single day I'll make one of these. This was yesterday's. Day before yesterday. Day before yesterday's day before. This was last year. This was 2 days into last year. Right? And then it keeps going. And I have been making these for, I think, now it's like 3 years consecutively. There is a total of 1,097 of them. And they're so big. That's why they're taking so long to populate. Like each of these are like 48 megabyte files. HD stuff. So that's one of my jobs. Then I post that to Patreon. That's basically where most of my income comes from. So if I was getting paid for the job that I do, Patreon is where I get paid. Then I have this as my technically first job, that was live streaming and showing up for my friends, having conversations. My intention being conscious evolution, believing that every single day we'll be faced with feelings and thoughts and ideas and opinions and perspective. And if you show up and you really go through your own experience listening to these things, you'll find yourself consciously evolving. So that's one of my other jobs. Then my third job is I'm a certified yoga teacher. So just before I do this class, I give a yoga class. I have a few students. That's my second biggest source of income. And then YouTube follows that. YouTube will make like 50 $50 a month, and not due to ads but directly due to your friends' memberships and like donation support. Jovan has been a superhero when it comes to that. Well, you've always said it right. It's nice to hear. I love you. Yeah. Do I have any more jobs? Yeah, technically I do. I'm also a business owner, like officially a business owner. I have a business bank account attached to my business as well, that I have some capital in, that pays for the Wi-Fi that's now powering this stream. Huzzah us! And then this business, I, there's no more we in the business, unfortunately. I do visuals. I do visuals. I basically create my clients' vision. Right, that is my business slogan. My business is called MeltMore Visuals. No, it's called Mind Melt Visuals. Excuse me. Mind Melt Visuals. And then my business's motto is making visions visuals. Right. So taking the vision that you have and then making that visuals. Do I have any more jobs? Uh, Not right now. I think that's it for now. But there's probably more coming, especially with the studying. I am a really like ceaseless student. I have to keep learning. Hmm. Oh wow, keep it up. That's my hobby. Bless. That's super cool. In India, they had special way to name the kids. The idea being the kid would or should find it evocative, like bringing out the essence. In an African culture, that's also something they believe about the way you name your child, is that it is something that like draws the purity from them, right? People will literally in South Africa call their kids purity and innocence and strength and patience. Like have met many a patience, right? I have met many patiences. Uh, I've met many. What's the other one that's very common? Patience is big. Patience is very, very big. My brother is called Ruda, which means love, and like people will call their kid Ruda as well, like love. But I feel like patience is the one that I have like a few faces in my head, but I cannot think of another name right now. Hmm. Very cool, great pattern for uh, cushions or tapestries. Yeah, right. That that is the hope, at least. You know, what is this painting and photo frame? That's me, technically. Every single one of those mandalas that I make, these are all photos of myself. Right. So let me find this shirt in these pictures or in these little flowers of mine. This this flower was made with this shirt. So you see that those oranges and those little white stripes, and how there's like little red inside that little white stripe, and how there's black backing, and how there's little blue little scales. Now look at this again, right? Black and yellow pieces and little white squigglies, the white squigglies. And I was wearing clearly in this one some sort of like light blue. I don't know if that light blue is that blue. Probably is not. Probably was wearing some sort of scarf that had that color in it. So yeah, they are little pieces of my soul that I share with you. Memory, yeah, I've met a few memories too. Actually, I really love meeting someone named Memory. I've met Skies as well. I've met. I'm thinking about a certain girl at a festival that I keep forgetting her name, but her name is like ridiculous in that way as well. Her name is like a river or something like that. I feel bad for not remembering her name. Her and her boyfriend usually says hi to me at the festivals, and it's also one of those kind of ridiculous ones. Echo is pretty. Echo, that is a cool name. I completely agree. Great pattern, bless. So when you call their name, something inside them should respond. It's Jovan. Mel, Jehovah, is it right? That's so great. Thank you, friend. Bye. Okay, Jovan, gotcha. I really like meeting someone named Memory. Love them. Can I share a spiritual Discord I joined and like? Maybe I'll put a link in Discord. Feel free to. Feel free to. What do you mean spiritual? Probably in me, when I think of the word spiritual, I think people that are pursuing God, right? Whatever God means to them, they're pursuing that. They're pursuing enlightenment or pursuing awakening, pursuing understanding, pursuing peace, pursuing calm, pursuing mindfulness, etc., etc. I met an echo, Hindu call it. Guys, tata, bye bye. Take care. Nice to talk. Bless you. Bless you too. Thank you for spending some time here with us, friend. Have a good one, Nisha. Yeah. The Discord is yamas niyamas. So yoga practices. Yeah. The yamas and the niyamas. I remember learning about that stuff while I was getting my 200-hour certification as well. Can you tell us about yamas and niyamas in the yogic practice? Yamas and niyamas are a foundational principle in the practice of yoga, offering ethical and personal guidelines for living a meaningful and harmonious life. They form the first two limbs of the eight limbs of yoga outlined in the ancient text, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. The yamas, the ethical disciplines, and the niyamas, the personal disciplines. Within the yamas, there is nonviolence, there is truthfulness, there is non stealing, there is moderation, and then there is non possessiveness. Right? And all of these have Sanskrit names as well. The non-violence is amsha, ahimsa. I might will probably be butchering all of these. I think I'll say this one right. The next one is truthfulness or satya, non-stealing, asteya, moderation, brahmacharya, and non-possessiveness, apari, aparigraya, letting go of greed and attachment, right? And then the niyamas is personal disciplines, uh, saucha, or purity, santosha, or contentment, tapas, or discipline, sat, svadhyaya, self-study, and ishvara prandhyahana, or surrender to a higher power. Right? And these yamas and niyamas, again, form like two of the eight, but they are very important when it comes to like finding some sort of balance in your experience. That with the outside world, with the ethical disciplines, how we interact with the world, we should interact with the world non-violently, right? Not harming other things with our words, with our actions, or even with our thoughts. Practicing kindness and compassion and love towards all beings, including yourself. Sure, it's big. Truthfulness. Speak and act with honesty while being mindful not to harm others with the truth. Aligning your words and actions with your authentic self. Non-stealing. To not take that is not freely given, whether it is material, possession, time, or energy. Cultivate gratitude and generosity. Practice moderation. Practice self-restraint, especially in sensual pleasures, to conserve energy for higher pursuits, seeking balance and focusing on life. And then non-possessiveness is to let go of greed and attachment and materialism, to trust that you have enough, and to embrace simplicity. And then niyamas is how we relate to ourselves. So with purity, to keep your body, mind, and surroundings clean, to practice mindfulness and positive thinking to maintain mental clarity. Contentment, to be content with what you have and to find joy in the present moment, to embrace and to accept with gratitude even in the challenging moments. Discipline, tapas, cultivating self-discipline and determination to pursue personal growth. Practice regularly even when it feels challenging. Self-study, reflect on your thoughts, your actions, and your experiences. Study spiritual texts and seek deeper understanding of yourself and the universe. And then surrendering to a higher power, to let go of ego and control, and trusting in the flow of life. To realize that you are one with this experience, right? And then just to integrate. Dedicate your actions to something greater than yourself. I thank you, friends, for dedicating your time to me here right now. I am going to finish this vertical stream. If you're new here, subscribe, give it a like, and we're going to do another one horizontally. It would be nice to see you, friends, on the other side again. With an echo, yamas. Yogi never stops leaning into these, literally. Not some sort of balance. Please try to understand the simplicity of it. Speaking of spirituality, would you change your religion for a partner? Absolutely not. Not even a little bit. I'm sorry for being so vocal about it. Yeah, my first long-term relationship, all right? I've been in two relationships before the one I was in now, right? And they were back in 2016 to 2014. Oh my goodness. 2014 to 2016 or 2017. And then again when I was 19. And then I was, not in a relationship for a very long time. And that first relationship ended because the person I was with at that point was a Christian, is maybe still a Christian. And when they started dating me, I wasn't a Christian. And then 2.5 years later, they left me because I'm not a Christian, right? And it's against her religious practices to be with someone who's not a Christian. So, yeah, no, no. Suddenly says, okay, bye. See you again, dear friend. It was nice having you here. I'll see you friends again soon in the next one. Goodbye for now. Love you all.